This is the Amp Hour Podcast, released May 30th, 2022, episode 591, All Over the World.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
What's up, nerd?
Not much, man. I was watching your reverse calculation of from Twitter. You looked at a part and a picture of a part, and then you went through and reverse calculated. I enjoyed that. That was a good video.
Excellent. Oh, you watched the whole thing. Excellent. Yeah, it was only it was half an hour long. It was like somebody asked me a question on Twitter, for those who aren't aware.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And which happens a lot. I get a lot of questions on Twitter, which is good. And often, I'll just try, if I can, I'll just fire off an answer. But I thought, this might make an interesting video because I had to do work to try and, answer the question. So I thought, might as well press the record button.
Yeah.
And
it was really good. It was like really straight ahead, analysis. I thought that was great. Like picking out the pin types and like the shapes of different things. I won't spoil it for people, but
I did guess wrong in the start of the video because for those because this is radio, someone posted a photo of a PCB which had a little SOC 23.5 part on it and a couple of caps and inductors around it and stuff like that. And I guessed, of course, well, it's easy to figure out that it's a voltage regulator, but which type is it? Is it a switching or linear? And of course, it's a switching because there's an inductor right next to it. That's a dead giveaway.
Yep.
And then to figure out the pin out, I actually got the pin out wrong. So, because
you didn't have other stuff.
I didn't have all the information, and I did later on in the video. So I actually asked him on Twitter, and he sent a bigger photo. So then, I guessed wrong. It was simply a guess, and well, I had a 50% chance.
Yeah, take a shot.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's interesting. I look at circuits now, just kind of being able to, so I just pick up a random dev board on my bench. I mean, obviously I know about this dev board, but like kind of just seeing design patterns and seeing like kind of how stuff is laid out and general shapes of things. It's definitely not intuitive at first, but as you get, you have more experience, get older in the industry, it starts to make more sense.
It becomes obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
And most board design, any capable board designer is going to do a modular layout. So if you've got a switch-in regulator, or a voltage regulator, it's going to be in the one, all the components are going to be grouped together. So you'll find the inductors and the capacitors, and they have to be for like EMC and other performance reasons, right? You can't have your filter, you can't have your switch-in inductor on like the opposite side of the board to your switching regulator. It's not, it's really going to be bad.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're a beginning layout person, you might not know that. But it's just like you'll never see that on any sort of professional level board. So they're all grouped together. So you're able to just glance at the board and go, yep, that's a switching regulator part of the circuit. Yep, that's like an op-ampy kind of circuit and stuff like that. You're just able to tell by the grouping of components.
Yeah, and I find that like even things that I probably would have looked at 10 years ago and been like, I don't know what I'm looking at right now, but like tag connect connectors, I feel like that's like one that's been more prominent now, and it's like, it's like they look very confusing at first, but now it's like, I know what plug in there. I could figure that out. And just like stuff like that. I don't know. I get less and less scared of electronics each time I look at them. It's a move in the right direction.
Yeah. And that's what the video was for. I mean, obviously anyone with any decent amount of electronics, not any hobbyist, is going to know all this stuff. But, but getting to that point is that's who the video is for,
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think having as a skill set too of like, you're not going to always have the schematic, like hopefully you don't.
No, that's right.
That's a best case scenario. But when you don't, then what? I think that's an important tool in the toolbox to be able to reverse engineer that sort of stuff. And knowing what
would be more important though is if the manufacturers actually put the part number on the freaking chip. SMD parts. Is there anything more frustrating? I don't know. Is there anything more frustrating than SMD component marking? I mean, anything that requires some database on some obscure website somewhere to even have a remote chance of figuring out what that freaking chip is. You know, it's just, oh God.
Well, and I feel like the ones that are like properly motivated, like the ones who are going to like go and actually rip stuff off, like they're going to figure it out. Like they're going to decap the chip and look at the die shots. And like,
right.
If they really want to know what it is, it's going to be. So why not just make it easy for everyone?
I know,
but I think
just
it's
make it
still
easy.
this culture of like, oh, well, our secret sauce is super important. It's like, it's a switching regulator. It costs 10 cents.
If any of our audience like work at a chip manufacturer and know the history of why they continue to put obscure markings like the one that I've had in my video, where is it? It's it's capital A, lowercase a, 1B3 or something, you know, weird like that. Right? It's like 5 random letters of upper and lower case. That absolutely tells you nothing. And of course, none of that is related to the part number. So all your parametric search engines on all your favorite sites or Google or anything, even the manufacturer's own parametric search on their own website will not let you search. Well, as far as I'm aware, is there any manufacturer that allows you to put in the SMD partner? But then you'd have to know who the manufacturer is, right?
That's
because
right.
there's no label.
They're too small to put the little logo on.
They're too small to put the label.
SOIC8, you can maybe pull off
you can put
tech logo.
You can have 2 layers of But I can understand SOT23s. I can understand where it originally comes from because SOT23s are ancient, right? We're going back to like 1980 kind of. So were they around in the late 70s? Oh, geez. Definitely around in the early 80s. Anyway, right? A long time ago.
70s,
right?
it would have been like hot new technology.
Right, yes, of course.
Check this out.
Yep. No, actually, I think they were. Anyway, at least 40 years old, right? Possibly even 45-year-old package tech. I can understand back then is that, you know, trying to mark the chips, right? A little SOT23, the actual, you know, laser marking and stuff like that wasn't really a thing back then. So it'd be a silk screen, you know, or however, you know, process they did it back then. And of course, you know, look, you could only put 2 letters on there or something, you know, because they couldn't make them that small if it wasn't laser etched and stuff like that.
Oh, because the fidelity of the silk screen.
So all, you know, and basically your SOT23 packages back then, there was none of this 5-pin or 6-pin rubbish that you get these days, right? It was a 3-pin or bust, right? So you know, it'd only be a single transistor, it'd be a single diode, or it'd be a dual diode, and that's it. And typically they might have like a 2-letter code for, you know, is it a dual diode or, you know, something like that. And there were kind of sort of some standards for that. I think there still are, or some manufacturers, you know, a lot of them follow the same code. Like if it's a dual diode or something, it'll have like, you know, BF or something on it. I don't know, just pulling that out of my bum. But, you know, it'd be sort of standardized. So you will find this kind of stuff in a database, in an SMD code database. But yeah, now that they've got laser marking and everything, and you can put at least 5 letters on there. The one that we're talking about in this particular video, it had 5 characters on it, right? I mean, 5 characters is enough to put the part number, like not the full part number with the alphanumeric prefix, but it's certainly enough to put, you know, it's like 65 420 or something, you know, like
it's like halfway to a URL at that point, you know. You could really,
I know, it's like, yeah, come on,
using like Unicode.
So does anyone have any? Yeah. Does anyone have any idea why this is? You know, and it's never like I don't expect parametric searches and of all the manufacturers or of all the suppliers and stuff like that to include SMD codes. I don't think that's ever going to happen. If it would have, it would have. If it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. So it's I think we're just forever screwed to these weird ass bloody. There's got to be a reason for it, right? It's like internally, okay, so you don't want the same number as some other manufacturer. You want, you know, your own unique thing, but it's not worth it. And like you can't put your logo on there anyway. So like, and anyone else can copy it, like can copy your code as well. It's not like it's, you know, it's not like it's trademarked or anything. I mean, it's just anyway. SMD codes. Grrr.
You're gonna have to. I don't know. With lasers, at a certain point too, you could start to mark more smaller and smaller stuff. You know,
you can make smaller and smaller stuff, and
everyone's got 2 resistors if you wanted. You know,
but I think you can put 2 level. Actually, I have seen some SOT23 packages with 2 layers of info. I think I can't recall where, but I think I may have seen it, and it's absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
But, geez, I don't know.
At least give us like an upcharge option for stuff, you know.
Anyway, so the outcome of that video where I was trying to identify this part for this person who asked on Twitter, I found the pinout. Of course, you can work out the pinout. And then I found a couple of 2 or 3 chips that matched that pinout, but they're obviously not, well, they're definitely, we know they're not that particular brand and part number, because usually, not always, as I showed in the video, there is a mark-in table, which the manufacturer, if you're lucky, in the datasheet, they'll put a mark-in table. They should. Any good manufacturer should. So they actually tell you what the SMD code is. But the only way to find that, maybe it might be searchable in Google. Maybe once or twice over the decades, I've like found the SMD code because it was like, it was in the PDF datasheet, and Google has like indexed the PDF datasheet, and that code happened to show up, and, you know, but it's pretty rare that happens. So, yeah. But there was one data sheet from MaxLinear.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Apparently they were bought by XR, apparently. And then XR I don't know, XR. Oh, XR is really old school. That's before you were born.
Oh, okay.
XR, yep. Really old school, you know, 1970s chips come from XR. Lots of old school linear jobbies, you know, and like analog to digital converters and stuff, you know, from XR. So anyway, that was, and it did, and that MaxLinear one did not have the SMD code in it, so I couldn't even check if it was the right code. It's like, oh, geez, thanks a lot. Yeah. So it's a struggle. So anyway,
I have a chip of the week. Speaking of
chip of the week. Yep, go for it. Send me a link.
This is actually on a off the shelf board that I'm using, but I hadn't actually seen. I'm just literally pulling data off this thing, so I'm not even like designing or anything like that. The SM351LT Honeywell sensing product. Basically, it's I think it's like a digital.
Oh yeah,
magnetic switch. You know, SOT23. Sorry, Dave. A little.
It's a 3-pin SOT23. Yep, old school.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. A little
position sensor. Is it a magnetic Hall effect thingy?
Yeah, it's like Hall effect, but it has I think a 1-wire. Or equivalent. Oh no, I guess it is.
It's a magneto-resistive sensor.
Yeah. So it's like a silicon. What's it called? Hall effect.
A silicon reed switch, basically. And no, it's a digital reed switch, right? Maybe a digital reed switch.
It is digital. Yeah, I guess it has got a push-pull output. So yeah, I guess it is a digital output. But yeah, pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty neat little part. Doing a little one of these off-the-shelf boards that I'm using, like a enclosed sensor board. It's got a basically you can like move a magnet up to it, like a lot of those sensors for like Windows, you know, like open close. So like a traditional reed switch, but low power.
Oh yeah, 360 nanoamps. Thank you very much for playing.
Yeah,
Jesus, you know, and it works down to 1.65 volts too.
Yep.
That's pretty schmick.
So,
that's
pretty cool, right? Yeah. So
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and like Hall effects are great. You know, people know them from a lot of like if you're doing encoders and stuff like that. They're great for that sort of thing. But this is more like I'm just sitting there and I want to know when the magnet's close to me, and so a lot of like proximity detection stuff like that.
That's cool.
So,
can you buy it?
You know, I didn't have to worry about that one.
Right. Okay. It's just a cool tip. All right. I totally agree. I love the data sheet. I'm looking at it, and it's actually got a photo of a ruler with the SOT23 package next to the ruler, as if anyone doesn't know what a SOT23 package is. Like, this weird ass SOT23. What is this? How big is it? I don't know. Is it an inch? Or is it... Come on. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know. How does this even work though? I guess it's like must be like the magnetic field impacts. It's showing like a
magneto-resistive thing. I don't know. Is it some nanotech? I don't know how.
Looks like it's like maybe a small MEMS sensor or something.
I would assume it's sort of MEMSy, nano-MEMSy kind of. But
that's what's kind of crazy about it. Like we don't really need to know.
It's an internal block diagram. Yeah. There you go. Yes, it is a push-pull output. It's got a flip-floppy. And it's got a threshold comparator, and the AMR. That's the sensor thing. It's like a bridge thing.
That's the magic. That's the magic bit.
That's the magic secret sauce, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mentioned it once on here, so not sure.
And there's a clock
It's
counter
different than
decoder.
ASMR, of course.
Right.
Like the magnet is close.
Hang on. You said at the start this was I squared C. This is not I squared C. This is
It's
just
not
a
I2C. No, it's digital, like you said.
It's just
Yeah,
a digital output. Yep.
yeah,
Nice. Just does its job.
Yep.
I like simplicity. I like simplicity. There's a segue there, Chris. I'm going to see if you can get it to something on the Reddit list.
Okay, let me see. I can do this. Simplicity.
You can do it. You can do it. You can
Please
do it,
make a
Chris.
dumb car.
Yes. Hey, you got it.
This is a TechCrunch article.
Yeah.
TechCrunch is down for me.
Oh, no, it's up for me.
But basically, it was a. No, there it goes. It's an op-ed basically saying, this is actually a very similar argument to the tablet in a car thing. Do you remember that argument from way back in early Amp Hour days? I said, instead of giving me a smart console, let me, slot in a tablet.
Oh, slot in a tablet. Yeah, right.
And then switch it out every 2 years so it's not like pokey as hell. I don't know how is your Ionic? How is the infotainment system on your Ionic?
It's meh. Is my official verdict. Meh. Okay. It's like it kind of does the job, but the mapping in it absolutely sucks ass. I'd much rather use Google Maps, and I think I can using like Android Auto and stuff like that. But then you've got to like plug your.
So like I love Android Auto, the Apple Car Kit. Those are like that is my jam. Like
I haven't tried it actually. I should actually try it, but my phone's got a dicky bloody USB cable, so it wouldn't freaking work anyway. So.
It does it over Bluetooth now, though. That's what's
so
really? Like the newest cars.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I
don't think
I thought it was always the cables, and then I got into a rental. These are like the only time I see it is rental cars. My cars are always very old, and like I got in a rental car and I was hooked up to the Bluetooth, and it's like, hey, you want to fire up Android Auto? I was like, oh yeah, and like so it's cranking a decent amount of data over that, and
right.
So then in that case, the little console computer is basically just a bigger screen for my phone, and Android Auto is great and it updates, and the Apple Car Kit's great. It updates, it gets all the daily updates, and that's what you really need. Like all these cars.
Yeah, you want it to be almost decoupled. That's as you said. You want the tablet in there, so it's decoupled from the car, basically. Yeah. And if if it gets if it fails or you want to get faster processing, you just use the tablet for some other thing and pop in a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I think some of it is like, it's so tough. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. This is a very tough problem for the car makers out there because you're sourcing a set of parts, including displays that you're trying to make for like 5 to 10 years. You need to have like the sourcing guarantees, and you're trying to be bleeding edge, but just cars take a long time to get built and, get through production. And so you're almost by definition.
And right, the customer experience is important, right? Because if you make it so it's just slot in your own one, it's like people get the car and you go, oh, well, where's the screen? Oh, no, you just slot in your own tablet, but I don't own a tablet, or oh no, it's not compatible. Right. It's like
you could source it though, like you could have a tablet that you give to the car owner.
Yes, that's right.
And then you just switch it out later.
You actually provide a standard. Yes, that'd be neat. How would you do that? Would you but you see, you would have to standardize on a particular type, and then you'd have to rely on the manufacturer to keep, if you slotted it in, right, it's got to get power somehow, right? So you've got to have some sort of standardized USB thing, and it's got to be in the right location, and it's got to be the, and the tablet has to be the exact form factor.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a commercial tablet, though.
Yeah, right. Okay, but
I think if you define a standard, though, right? So if Ford or GM or one of the big car makers said, you know what, we're just going to switch to the standardized form factor, what would happen is you'd get downward price pressure because you'd have secondary markets pop up around like upgraded screens.
Absolutely,
people would be able to figure out the connector. Right. They'd be able to figure out that stuff. They want to do upgraded things, and then it would become an ecosystem because of volume, right? I mean. Yeah,
I agree. Yep.
So I don't know. I think it's just some of it is hubris, some of it is true sourcing. I think there's actually some regulation stuff in there too. Like I imagine that if you're in an accident, you probably have to have like shatterproof glass or all this stuff that I'm sure they have to do testing around that stuff. So I know there's other restrictions in there, but
well, the good thing about mine is mine has failed once on me, right? The really? Big big 10-inch or whatever touchscreen thing, right? It just went blank or it locked up or something, right? So there was so you couldn't use it. You had to repower the car and it worked fine once it was repowered. But it's only ever happened once, and I couldn't actually reproduce it. Don't know why, But anyway, it did lock up. Apparently, Teslas do this all the time. But my one's only ever happened once in now 25,000 kilometers, 27,000 kilometers or something. So, done a lot of driving, but the car still worked because it's got the dedicated heads up display, which still has all the required info, and you don't need that user interface to drive the car safely. Right. So it's,
Yeah, and I think that's really the thrust of this article too, is like, look, you can make a car that has knobs and is drivable without having all the other stuff in there. I think one of the problems is just that it's, it all comes, the user experience stuff whenever I think of user experience, it's like, how are you designed? How is your software? And then how is your hardware keeping up? Out of those three, one is, it's just going to age with the car. And so you have fewer and fewer resources compared to other expectations that people have, right? If they have a cell phone that's less than 2 years old and they have a car that's 8 years old, almost by definition, and the time to build the car as well, might have been 2 years in development. Now you're working on 10-year-old technology versus 2, and just there's just a complete mismatch in terms of expectations and hardware. So it just I think I look at, my wife has a 2015 car, so that was probably designed in 2012. That's 10 years now. It's like it's insane,
Yep.
I think I reload the GPS data if I was to use it with an SD card hidden somewhere underneath the center console. It's just like, okay. Yeah.
I've got a test equipment segue here. I'm trying to get you the link though, because I don't know if you've seen. You're probably not following on the EEV blog forum. Give me a second. I will actually find it.
That's on me then, really.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because you're not following on the.
Got to keep up with the latest.
Yes, you
EEV
do.
Blog forum.
There is I will find it. I'll find it. I'm here. I'm
kind of hoping it's Shahryar's latest. I started watching Shahryar's latest.
What's his latest one? I haven't.
It was a teardown and test of Signal Path. I should have put it on the list apparently.
There we go. I got it.
Oh, the 60 gigahertz WiGig phased array. Hell yeah!
Oh right, yeah. I haven't watched that one. Yeah, right.
Man. Like it's getting so crazy that it's getting so crazy. It's just so far away from anything that I understand. I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. It's like magic. Look, hey, look, magic. Show me, wizard Shahryar.
So there you go. I sent you a link. You might have to the image. You might have to actually click on the image to make it bigger.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, you got it.
What am I looking at here? Oh
what are you looking at? You're looking at a new oscilloscope from Tektronix.
Seriously, that looks like a tablet with BNC connectors.
Yeah. See, I was not supposed to talk about this, but of course the the nerds on the EV blog forum found all the info, so it has not been released yet. So I'm not supposed to.
No hints from Dave. No hints from Dave.
But people have found the data sheet, like it leaked out on Farnell's website or something, and so everyone has all the photos, all the info, right? Yeah. So I guess I'm allowed to talk about it now.
Right? If not, Dave's just a series of bleeps right now.
Right. Okay.
Bleep, bleep,
so
bleep, bleep.
Anyway, it's there. It's all on the EV blog forum, right? So it's all out there.
This isn't a real shot though. This is a render.
No,
I'm definitely looking at a render.
No, that's a real shot.
That's a real shot. Are you sure? It looks not real.
That looks like a real shot to me. It could be.
Renders are so tough to figure out these days.
I know that's what it actually looks like. So that. It wouldn't surprise me if that's a real shot, because it actually looks like that. So, yeah.
All right. Little quick vote here, folks. You can go vote on the comment section. Is it a render? I think it is. Look at the shadows. The shadows are too perfect.
Right, shadows are too perfect.
If it is a product shot, it's a very, very nicely done product shot.
Yes,
I will say that.
Yes.
Also, the screen looks totally fake.
Right, but that's
look how perfect that sine wave is. I guess that could be superimposed, but. I have questions, Dave.
That looks real to me because I physically have one here, and it does look like I could
mixed company on mixed signal oscilloscopes.
Yeah. So anyway, I've got a pre-release one here. It's so pre-release. Maybe I can spoil this thing like. Some things are 3D printed. Let's just say that. Some things
nice.
on my model are 3D printed.
Yes. Hey, that's great. Kudos to Tektronix rather for sending out 3D printed stuff like that. I think that's great. You got to trust the community.
Yes. No, yeah, they gave me a pre-release one. Now, obviously, it won't be 3D printed in the final
Yeah,
version,
yeah.
right? It's obviously going to be injection molded or whatever. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, so yes, it is very cool, and it is kind of, it's different. I was not expecting it, and in what, a couple of weeks, a week and a half or something like that, you'll be able to watch my first impressions video and
Okay.
unboxing video and
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
You're not
and
gonna get in
I
trouble for this, are you? Because I don't want to have to cut all this stuff out.
no, no. This is all on the forum. It's all on the forum. So,
All
yep,
right.
I've mentioned that I've got several videos hidden away. You can't find them unless you guess the URL. That random bunch of letters. So
Yeah,
good luck.
The hash
Right.
on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the interesting segue with this, right, is why I brought it up. It wasn't on the list. I wasn't going to talk about it. But basically, yes, it is a touch tablety kind of scope, but it does have some real controls on the side, of course.
Right.
But the whole idea is that this is similar to the 3, 4, 5, and 6 series tech. I don't know if you've used those, the new tech scopes, the 3, 4, 5, 6 series.
No. I think
Right.
I have very old tech.
Yeah,
tech.
right. Very old tech, no pun intended. All right. So yeah, they've gone with this new sort of, I don't know how to explain the user interface. It's very tablety. Everything's sort of like it's got these modular little control things that pop up and disappear, and it's very, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like they use the edge of the screen as like almost like a beveled button display, but it's touch buttons. Is that a fair assessment?
Maybe something like that. But yeah, the point is that you can
I'm going off a
use
single
it.
photo here, so
Yeah. So the point is that you can use the scope completely via the touchscreen, right? You don't have to use the controls, and it's got a VNC remote networking screen interface, so that all you need is you don't need to duplicate the controls.
Huh.
So you can remote control the scope by only having a mouse and the screen. Just like you do
cool.
a remote control on somebody's computer, you can do the same for this, right? And you can do everything on the scope on the screen. You don't have to have the controls. And that's kind of
you like or don't like, because this is almost moving towards slapping a TFT on a headless unit. It kind of feels like that to me.
Exactly. And I like that concept, and they've stuck with that across. This is all their new gen scopes. So now with this new 2 series,
new gen low end or new gen all the way up.
All the way up. It's the same usability, the same interface from now the new 2 series right up to the 6 series. So they're all the same. You can if you use the lowest end one, you can use the highest end one, and vice versa.
So you're basically like paying for the upgrade on the capture chipset and front end.
Yes,
low noise
you're paying for that sort of stuff.
Thing, right?
So any software improvements made in, say, the highest end 6 series, it can flow down to the 2 series because it's like it's a software thing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine from like a management perspective too. Like if you have, you have 1 through 6, right? You have 6 layers of scope based on different margin levels, whatever, manufacturing costs, whatever. I mean, you want to have a single unified interface if you can, so that also it's very easy for someone who bought a 2 scope is like, oh, you know how to use the 2 scope? The 6 is great. All you have to do is give us $80,000 more.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, and
we also take credit card.
Yep. So I just think that concept is interesting where, as you said, they could actually make a completely headless unit with no controls whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and so it's a pure tablet scope. It's a pure
I've seen
tablet
that
scope.
from the tech. I think the VNA, maybe it was Keysight. There's one where like basically it's a take it with you VNA, and it was like a 50 gigahertz VNA or something crazy high end. But it was like, it's just a front end with a high speed,
It's a complete headless unit. Yeah, actually tech do this in some of the real high end stuff, and also Keysight do headless units as well, and I'm sure I think LaCroix, basically all of the major ones do like a headless unit, I think.
Yeah.
So
one thing I think about with this stuff is like the hard part that I imagine is like the isolation. So if I buy a scope and I plug it in my computer, you better be damn sure that you are optically isolated, maybe not even optically, just isolated, right? It could be capacitive, it could be whatever, but I want many thousands of volts RMS isolation between my expensive computer and my expensive scope, which is supposed to be floating anyways. And so, okay,
well, no,
now it's,
normal scopes aren't floating though. Normal scopes are mains Earth referenced. They're grounded.
yes, thank you.
But
I just don't want it. I don't want my computer to be attached to it. That's the main
well,
thing.
yes, because it's more robust. Basically, if you screw up something with your scope, it has a very low impedance path from those B and Cs to the mains Earth, right? So hopefully you don't blow up your scope.
You can buy floating scopes as well,
you
right?
can also
but you're
buy
right. Most
isolated
of them are not.
scopes. Most of them are not. And this new one is not. It is not a tablet. Yeah, most portable scopes, they will be like isolated. Some are isolated, some aren't. This one is not, because it can be used as a bench scope as well. Right.
Yeah.
So it comes with a big thumb screw terminal on the side, so that you can ground that sucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh nice. So the thing that I'm getting at though is, if you do have something that's just completely headless and it's just crapping out data at USB 3 levels, like now you're pushing that through an isolator too. Like that's got to be a super fancy isolator. Like the speeds on that have to be crazy high.
Well, there's two ways to do it. Of course, you can do it. You can do it on the front end, so you can have a completely floating front end, or you can do it on the digital side, and then all of your inputs are common together, but they're not mains Earth reference back to your computer via the USB. So, there's two ways to do that.
I'm sure they're thinking about it. I was just thinking the cost of, I don't know if you've looked at isolator costs, but
they're not.
So
no,
crazy expensive.
They're crazy expensive, especially the higher speed you want to go.
I guess at a certain point you just skip doing like a opto based or even a capacitive based, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to put this in a serializer, and you put it through a piece of optic fiber optic, and you hop a gap like that. It's just crazy.
It's nuts.
So bonkers.
Anyway, that's cool. That's very cool. So
how long until this is out?
I think weeks? Early June. Yeah, it's a couple of weeks. Cool. I think June 7 or something. They've got a big announcement. You can go sign up for the live show when they actually release it and stuff like that.
CTech, don't worry. Dave is not only revealing some of your secrets on his forum, he's also helping promote it. So it's push and pull.
I did not reveal secrets. Everyone else did.
Everyone else did. It's just you hosting.
It was like
are you responsible for these secrets?
Yeah. I was just sitting there waiting. Like, when is somebody going to? A data sheet's going to leak somewhere, right? Because they have to send the data sheets ahead of time to all of the sellers, of the resellers, and they have to put it on their website, and they, and it just leaks into search engines everywhere.
The greatest argument against conspiracy theories ever is humans suck at keeping things secret.
Yeah, exactly. But I did keep my end of the bargain, so it wasn't me who.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You released it, so yep. Oh, anyway, it's out there. Boy, okay. Yeah. I'm sure they don't mind anyway. It's all part of the hype, right? So, and you're either going to go, "Wow, this is great," or you're going to hate it and go, "Nah, that's just absolutely no use to me."
I don't know. I can't even think about it. Like, some people like really get it. Obviously, people on the forum are very clued into when there's releases and the latest and greatest in test equipment. I'm like, until I have like a credit card with enough budget on it from my employer or from myself that I'm like ready to buy, like everything else is just moot and just really going to be tempting to me. So I'm like, this is why I had to stop. I had to stop subscribing to camera gear reviews as well.
Oh, right. Yes, like, of course.
Oh, I need that new camera. I'm like, what for? You sit in front of a webcam effectively every day. Like, you don't need to look any. No, I have no needs. I'm not a filmmaker. I know this.
Yep.
Viscerally.
Yep. Same here. I've gone through phases like that. Oh, the latest camcorder's come out. Whoa, will I upgrade? It's like, oh God, no, I'm just shooting 1080p freaking video. It's fine.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like,
Some people go in the other direction though. So some people don't say, hey, I need the latest and greatest thing that I can buy. They say, hey, how do I build all this stuff myself? And I want to talk about this a little bit because there was a video I found. It was probably 3 years old now, I think, maybe more. But it was an EV conversion. And like, did you happen to watch this? Or no?
I think I watched it years ago, and I have watched some of it just before the show. Yeah.
Yeah, 2019. So it came out in 2019. It's basically the guy he's reviewing his conversion after 10 years, which is super impressive. He did an EV. And I'm watching this thing just getting so anxious thinking about like the way he's talking about everything. Saying, "Oh yeah, I just like have a little dial here, and this is how I turn this on, and then I charge this. It's about 90 kilowatts, and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah. And it's all custom, right? It's all custom
Yeah.
stuff. It's all homebrew stuff. I used to work with someone like this, and she actually built her own
Yeah.
EV, and this was way before this one in 2009. This would have been mid 2000s or something like that. And that was like bleeding edge back then. Like there were, it was incredible.
Yeah, actually, I met a tech engineer. Oh no, we had him on the show. Oh yeah, one of the guys. I forget his name now. Sorry. One of the Tektronix engineers we had on the show at some point, and he did an EV conversion as well. It was like a BMW.
Yep.
I don't remember. I'll look him up. But yeah, he was crazy too. I mean, like, I think the thing is, the guy in this video, I didn't catch his name. What is it? E. Tischer, and the guy that we had on the show, who I've forgotten his name. They're wicked smart. I mean, like these guys, guys and gals, like they're so freaking smart that they're like, yeah, this is no problem. But I am not smart, and I'm so afraid.
They're so passionate about this. It's like I could do it, but I don't freaking want to because it scares the shit out of me, right?
Yeah.
It's like I just get the heebie-jeebies around, huge energy battery packs. It just like, yeah.
I guess I asked our guest about it. I've already recorded with our guest next week, who's a little surprised. I'll tell you, Dave, after the show.
Oh, okay.
But I asked her about it too. It was just like, she does a lot of projects, and I was just like, well, what do you dig into? And she's like, yeah, not that. And I'm like, yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
just commiserating,
Yep. We're just total wusses, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. I think some of it. I think what it comes down to, and I guess people will hear me say this next week too. Some of it is just maintenance. Like I think about so. Mr. Tischer here, the guy in the video, like he must have like stories where he's just broken down on the side of the highway. Like there's things happen,
for sure.
And like I can call someone when my car breaks down because there's
right. Who do you call for this
range of command?
Bloody...
Yeah,
no, you just.
I guess your tow truck guy, and
you
then you
simply
just take
call
home.
a tow truck. Yeah.
I guess maybe it's not a big deal, but I'm just I'm not at that risk level in my life right now.
You're right. I totally agree.
I'm just not that smart.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. No thanks. Oh boy. Yep.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some aspect of like power in there as well that I'm just not that is not a DIY portion that I will be spending my time on. I will tell you what I have been spending my time on, which is relearning FreeCAD.
Oh, why?
Turns out when you put it down for about 3 months, it is a very difficult program to come back to.
Oh,
so this is the CAD program.
Yeah, I actually tried it once. Doesn't it have like a command line interface as well? It's kind of maybe I'm using a very old version.
It does. That was not for me. If so,
I don't know. It was just not intuitive at all. I just everyone said, try FreeCAD. It's great. It's easy to use. Like I just went, no. I'm sorry. If I can't draw a freaking cube in an hour, no, it's not easy to use. It's like, no.
I mean, there are some things that I think I mentioned last, this is now my third time using it. And it went okay last time. I went through a lot of tutorials and I was able to build a case, right? So that was my big thing last time. And I started from a really good Adafruit model, right? So Adafruit publishes lots of step models of their cases, really great, community service, awesome. That is a great place to start because it's like you're starting from like a known shape and then you're just kind of mapping to that shape. Like that is that is the way to start, I think. If I had to recommend other people, it'd be that, because if you just start with a blank sheet of paper, it's like
it's harder. Some packages are easier than others. Like I've done that. I've done case designs for my watches and my watch projects and stuff like that. And some packages just like within 10, 15 minutes of using it, I've got a pretty fancy looking watch case out of it, right? Yep. Others, I'm sitting there for hours, like FreeCAD. I'm sitting there for hours and I'm still scratching my head figuring out how to do the most basic stuff. It's just, you know,
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to is like, it's one of those things where I think as I get older and grumpier, and hang out with you more, older and grumpy person, I think what it really comes down to is I just want one answer, and a lot of things try and sell themselves based on like, oh, there are so many answers. Look at all these different ways you can do things. Like if I'm going to pick on other open source projects, like
Mhm.
Linux. They're like, oh, look at all these different ways you can do things. I'm like, I don't care. Just tell me one way to do things.
Yep.
I don't want to dig into a forum post where people are like, ooh, isn't it cool? You can do it this way and that way and this way and that way. And,
No, it's not.
Chris, you can go and try all these different things at, 2
Yep.
p.m. on a Saturday.
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
how about one thing? So
Yep. Totally.
I would say that's my my complaint coming back to it. I think some of it is just new program, like a new CAD program. I mean, honestly, I opened a KiCad recently.
You want a dumb CAD program, just like you want a dumb car. You want a dumb CAD program. You want a dumb CAD program that just does simple stuff simply.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll be a little vulnerable here. In a moment of weakness, Dave.
Yeah.
I almost installed Fusion 360 again.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't figure out how to do it in Linux.
Right. That's what saved you, huh?
Yeah, there's an install script in Linux that like helps you install it, and it's got like Wine and like a Windows emulator and
script. You lost me at script. Okay,
yeah,
I'm just like no.
I'm sure it would have worked, and don't get me wrong. I think Fusion 360 is great. Other programs are great, but I've made the switch, and luckily, I was prevented from going back. So dug my own hole, and now I will sit in it. Thank you very much. Excellent. And as a resolution of the story, I was able to model the very, very, very simple thing that I was trying to do. Yeah, so small win.
Cool. Well done.
People show up at Embedded World, they may get to see it. So come
excellent.
on out to Embedded World.
That's in Germany.
That's the German one. Yeah, that's in Nuremberg.
When is it again?
In 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
June 20th to 24th, I believe.
It's enormous.
Yeah, it's not as big as Electronica, but still pretty big.
Right, yep.
Yeah, and that Electronica is later this year. I am wondering about what's going to happen later in the year, like trade show wise. I'm really hoping SuperCon comes back, the Hackaday SuperCon. I hope they do that again.
Yep.
Electronica is this year. I'm sure that'll be insane.
So what's happening in Germany with all the CUF stuff? All the masks and everything else, and lockdowns, and what's happened? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more open than it had been. There haven't been any I think there's no mask requirements. I think there's no travel requirement. I need to double check.
Right.
But
yep.
Yeah, I'm already locked in to go. So if they're like, well, you have to wear this beanie on your head in order to come into here because it's a safe thing to do, I'll be like, okay, cool. I want to see people. You have to wear a full body suit of latex.
Right.
I'm like, all right, well,
you have to wear
it's
a
not gonna
bunny
be flattering,
suit,
but I'll do it. Yeah.
You have to wear a full bunny suit, and
full bunny suit. Oh man, can you imagine walking around a conference like that? Oh,
dude, I've done an obstacle race in a bunny suit. You don't have to tell me about how uncomfortable that is. I almost passed out due to heat, build up and exhaustion.
That's like wearing a garbage bag, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Not great for ventilation.
No, not
cut
at
a
all.
hole under the armpits or something.
That is not fun.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we go back to cars again? Because we have been done a lot of car things stuff.
We are pretty into cars. Yeah, we're pretty into cars.
Yeah, we're total car dudes, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome to Car Talk.
Well, at one point I used to change my own oil and fix my own car. I had my own service manual and stuff. That's when I owned my first car.
Does your car even have oil now? Like, what happens with an EV in like lubrication?
It has.
It's like
there's no oil for the engine. Yeah, I'm sure there's like bearing grease for the wheels and the power steering. Like there's actually power steering fluid and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because that's a hydraulic thing.
Yeah, right? It's basically all the same. Yeah. So you basically just don't have the engine. So you've got no oil for your, to lubricate
for
your
the
engine.
Vroom,
no timing
make
belts
go
and
part. You mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yep. Anyway, so it's I used to fix my own car, but geez, I haven't done that for like 30 years. So
yeah.
Yep. Long time ago.
So cars,
hydrogen cars. There's a new
researchers.
Australian researchers claim to have made a giant leap in lifting the F-50.
You lost me at Australian reachers.
Right.
Do they even do research in Australia?
Of course we do.
All the experiments are upside down.
Just invert your results, dude.
Good point. Yeah, you got to turn the notebook upside down then too.
Yeah, you just
right. So what is the deal here? Because
this is a video from Undecided with Matt Farrell, who does like infotech videos, I guess you could call them, right? Okay. And yeah, apparently he's done a lot of videos. And anyway, somebody put it on the Reddit, so I thought we'd discuss it. It's like, yeah, there's some new innovation that scientists did here in Australia that increases the electrolysis, the process of actually generating the hydrogen and makes it more efficient. It's like, meh, hydrogen cars will never be a thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just there's too many practical problems. It's just not going to happen. So, faffing around the edges of trying to make it more efficient is just no. It's, the fundamental problems of storage and transport and everything else are still there, even if you solve the generation part of it.
Well, all you need is some electricity and some water, Dave. Come on, just electrolysis.
Yeah, well, you use more power to generate it than you get out. So that's kind of a problem. I don't know if I haven't watched the whole video, so I don't know the exact details, but I don't know if this actually fixes it and flips it to net energy positive, i.e. you get more energy out than it takes to. No, it can't. It can't. There's no, the laws of physics, surely, say that you can't put more energy in.
I don't really do physics, Dave.
Right. but surely, because you've got to create the hydrogen, right? You've got to create it, and it takes energy to create the hydrogen. Therefore, I don't think there's any. I think it would disobey the laws of physics if you got more energy out than what you put in, right? So,
Dave, if there's only one thing that we know more than cars, it's physics and chemistry.
Yeah, exactly, and chemistry and and the periodic table exactly. But surely, I mean, obviously, huge energy density with fossil fuels, of course, right? Oil, because there was a lot of energy used to create it in the process of time and compaction of the earth and everything else, right? Which compressed it and which compressed all that leaf
bonds.
Letter,
them covalent bonds.
Yep. So that was all free energy input, so to speak, and then we just came along and sucked it out of the ground and went, "Hey, thank you very much, nature, for all that energy input from the sun and the pressure of mass."
Black gold, Texas tea.
Yep. Anyway, so I don't know. Just no for hydrogen cars. Just stop it. Just stop it. I think I saw a hydrogen car ad from Toyota. I think they're one of the few who are actually trying to do it. And I think I saw it an ad on TV, like in the last 6 months or something. I went, why? I think technically you can buy like hydrogen car, like you can actually buy them. I think, I think you can actually buy them. But God, no. Stop it, please. I don't care about hydrogen breakthroughs. I just don't, there's some niche applications, but
I do wonder about so say, we're an electrified future, right? 20, 25 years from now, right? Mass EV adoption, solar on every roof, all the crap that, everybody hopes for. What do they do for construction equipment? Like, I drive by construction sites and stuff like that. And just like, man, the amount of energy to just drive a dump truck, it's the power output is like insane.
Surprisingly not, because they're very heavily geared ratio. Like you might find that when like one of those huge tractor, once again, I'm not a tractor expert, go figure. But like a big John Deere tractor or something is like only like a couple of hundred horsepower or something like that, right? You can get normal cars that have more horsepower, but it's just how they divide that down through to the wheels and the gear ratios and everything else. So they get massive amounts of torque and the giant wheels and everything, right? So it's not...
Well, let me use my mechanical engineering skills here, Dave. I believe the wheels on the bus go round and round. Round and round. Round. I've been learning this with my daughter.
I know. Yeah. Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. Oh, God. We've got one of those things that we... like one of those learning, like it's a keyboard thing and it toys. We had it in the car for years, and we heard everywhere we go is the wheels on the bus. Mm-hmm. Oh God! Yep. You're going to get more of that.
Oh, they already are. Yeah, all the toys in our house also are bilingual. They also speak Spanish.
Oh, and, really?
So we've been trying that. It's been interesting.
Wow.
And so I know my ABCs in Spanish now. Mostly if I sing it, though.
Right. You've got if somebody talks to you on the street in Spanish, you're going to reply in song.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Actually, I was
great stuff
on the toy aspect, this is not like a new thing in the toy industry, but like we were gifted a bunch of secondhand toys, and it's fine.
Right.
One of them is like actually a bulldozer. Speaking of construction
Right.
equipment,
Yeah.
and it's like meant to be on a track, and on the underside there's actually 8 tiny little buttons, and it's like basically as it drives over tracks.
Ah, yes, it pushes the buttons. Yeah, I know those ones.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's an 8-bit encoding,
Right.
and then that triggers different sections of the ROM, and then it sings different little songs.
It sings different. Yeah. We had like a Thomas the Tank Engine thing.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Something
That's
like that. And then you hear the fat controller come on, and this causes confusion and delay. Because it went over this part that triggers this button.
Yeah. No, it's that. I mean, toy designers, like I think a lot of the tricks are the same, but they're deployed in lots of very creative ways, and I'm always very impressed with toy design. I think it's I don't know. I don't think I'd be good at it. I don't think
because you would be trying to use the chip of the week, which we had, which is the magnetic sensor, which costs like $2 a pop or something, no. We want 2 pieces of metal that.
Oh my god, it was. Yeah, it was $1.63 in single quantities.
There you go. I called it right. I was near enough. And so no, you want 2 pieces of spring metal that just touch, because you can stamp those out for 0.01 cents each. Yeah.
And there's another. We have like a teapot as well that's like lights up, and it like does all the different actions when you like pour the tea, and I'm like, oh, I bet it's got an accelerometer. Nope.
No.
Contact switch. Yeah. Contact switch. Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like Big Clive, he takes apart like toys and like low cost stuff, and it's like
it's cool.
It's elegant, but it's never like that. It's never complex, right?
It's never complex, and it's usually not that robust. It's usually they make it as robust as it needs to be, kind of, and then nothing more. It's not over engineered. It's price. Yeah. It's built down.
Yeah, exactly. Price. It's optimized for cost and volume, and
good stuff. Yep, you just got to get more of that.
I know. I wish we wouldn't. How do you tell people that? Yeah, we're cool.
You did the crime. You got to do the time.
All right.
Yep. All right.
So back to construction stuff. Do you think that it's just a matter of gearing?
Yeah, I don't. I think you might be surprised at like how little horsepower huge. You'd think it might. It's got to have like 5,000 horsepower or something. I think you might be. Yeah, maybe the huge mining trucks and stuff do, but I think you might be surprised.
Just thinking like a Mack truck, like a diesel, but like diesel engines, they have tons of torque, right? I mean, like, don't they have like lots of torque at the low end, sort of thing? Isn't that what like people who know about trucks
that's
say?
All the gearing does, right?
Yeah. Dave, I'm really out of my element here.
Okay, here we go. In 2014, this is the first thing on Google. In 2014,
Google.
A Mack truck, right? Where you just chose Mack trucks, right?
Right.
They offer 3 engine series, 325 horsepower to 605 horsepower. So that is equivalent to a high performance sports car, right? It's nothing more.
I guess so.
And that's a big Mack truck, right? But they have like 2,700 Newton meters of torque, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I don't know how horsepower translates to actual torque. Like that's a power. That's like a
it's all the gearing.
Right?
As I said, it's the
horsepower is such a dumb measure, isn't it?
Well,
it's like
yeah.
Anyways, I just think about like, okay, so now you have. So what I was really when I was driving by the site, it was like they were loading up they were doing earth moving, right? So basically a backhoe was scooping up dirt, putting it into a truck, and then that truck goes and deposits it at like a dump or something like that, or some central repository. And so like just thinking about the power output though, you would have to go and recharge that truck, like just like I don't know, maybe it would just be about the charge capacity and how fast you could charge something like that. I would just think it would be very onerous versus plugging more diesel into a truck and moving earth like that. It's just like, it just seems like in the logistical sense, construction will be a very difficult thing for a non-carbon future. But maybe there's stuff out there that's already, maybe Caterpillar and all of, who else does it? I don't know any other brands.
sorry, I don't remember any news coverage of any like big industrial machinery actually going fully electric. But I could be wrong. Maybe if we went out and search it. Anyway, going back to the horsepower thing, John Deere tractors. I'm on the John Deere tractor website, so I know you're a big 5E series fanboy of the 5.
Yeah, I know. I love. Those are.
Yep. So we're talking 50 horsepower to 93 horsepower in the entire range. That's a bit like that's a John Deere tractor. Or if you go up to the big 5R series John Deere's, 90 horsepower to 125 horsepower.
I just think that the torque is different than the horsepower.
Yes, it is. It comes through differently. That's I'm talking. It's the gear ratios and everything else. You know, it's how you transfer that horsepower through to the wheels and everything. And then you've got the giant wheels and everything helps, you know. And these things, you know, like they can't do over like 40 k's an hour or something, you know.
Yeah, right, so, exactly.
You know, yeah, they're very low speed, high.
Yeah, I mean, there's just preliminary Googling, you know, Caterpillar. You know, they all have stuff about this, how we're going to move to an EV future. But like, I should go on YouTube is actually the real thing. You know, they're talking about it in mining, and it's like actually that makes sense. If there's anything like underground, it should be electric, but
anyway, what I'm talking about here, right? If you translate horsepower into kilowatts, right? Those lower end John Deere tractors are 37 kilowatts, 37 kilowatts, right? That is not a big motor, right? My EV has 110 kilowatt motor in it, right? So I can't see why it's not possible to convert tractors into fully electric. I don't know if anyone wants to tell us. Maybe the extra weight, because they're very low weight. People think tractors are heavy. They're not. They're really lightweight.
I was thinking about construction equipment, but
I know. But I'm starting from tractors, and then we can work our way up. You know.
All right.
I guess.
Right. Yeah, you work up to those monster, man.
Those big mining trucks and the big.
God, those things are so cool.
Yeah, I know. I so want to drive one. Yeah.
There actually is a spot. Do you know if you go to Vegas, you can actually go and like. You can go and drive construction equipment around and like just move dirt.
Oh, really?
Do you know that's a thing? Yeah.
Oh,
it's like you're like basically like you're like a little kid. It's one of those
experience days. You know, it's one of those
exactly.
Yeah. You can go and
yeah. So okay.
In
case you find yourself in Vegas again,
right? I'll have to check out if something like that's here. I would love to drive a train. I'd love to get like a train driving experience. I'm a bit of a train fanboy. You know?
I know there's like there's train hobby groups.
Yep.
It's just like there's got to be so. If you go join like a train hobby group, like there's a lot of people that are into trains.
Oh yeah, totally.
You got to really work your way up before you get to be the conductor, right?
Before you get the big iron stuff,
Whoa, buddy! You can't just drive a train right away. You got to learn how to do it. Forwards.
Shovel here.
Backwards.
You shovel this coal first for a week.
Stop. Yeah.
Yep. Cool bananas. All right. Well, do we have any last minute? Our amp hour is almost up. Do we have a last dibs? Dregs? Do we have any dregs?
Intel.
Do we
has a
care?
new CEO, newish CEO.
Oh, do they? They got a new CEO?
No, I mean newish. I think he's been there a year or two. Pat Gelsinger.
Oh, and he's got a plan to fix Intel. How? To
probably getting a lot of Uncle Sam money, to be honest.
Yeah, and or buying AMD or something. I don't know.
That would be something.
That'd pretty much do it, I think. That'd pretty much fix Intel, would be to buy AMD. Yep.
Here's an interesting thing on a forum I'm on. Someone asked recently about their client wanted them to have knowledge of where every chip was manufactured on the board they designed.
That's not uncommon for the stuff I've worked on. You have to know where the chips are sourced from.
Would it be possible in 2022 though?
Well, it depends how deep you want to go, because when you get a chip, right, and it's made in Taiwan or something, it's not all made in Taiwan, right? The actual wafer silicon could come from somewhere in China, Japan.
And then, it's chopped up in Malaysia, and
it's chopped up in Malaysia, and then it's tested in China, and then it's packaged in China, and then it's sent. It's like it's all over the shop. That's why you often see in the data sheet manufactured in one or more of the following countries. It's like,
Right.
and there's a reason for that.
I always see that, that doesn't bother me for chips for some reason. It always bothers me for olive oil.
What?
It says, yeah, olive oil. Like if you look at like not like high-end olive oil, like you look at high-end olive oil, it's like, oh, this is from Italy and you're going to pay for it.
Right.
No, it's like you look at like medium to low grade olive oil. It's like, this was possibly manufactured in Spain, Tunisia, Italy,
right,
Brooklyn. I don't know, like,
and it's all just mashed together in one big vat,
and literally, yeah, it was like some dude just like, well, let's just mix it together until it tastes like not garbage,
right?
Yeah, so
that's
olives
great.
from all over the world,
yeah,
all of the world, olive the world.
Yeah. Hey, he's here all week, folks. Yeah.
The world. Maybe writing a title slide.
Oh, you're right. You're writing a title. Okay.
Olive the world. Yeah. We'll see. We've actually had other olive-based names for shows in the past. I don't remember why. I think it was about olive green.
Maybe,
drab green, maybe.
Drab of olive.
Drab olive. I think that was it.
Drab olive is the official military color. Yes.
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 Yep. Drab olive. January 2020.
There you go.
June 2020.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Oh, it seems like way further.
Yeah. So anyways, it would be very interesting to know that stuff. But then like, okay, so now you know this. Now what? Like,
I
don't know. There
does it matter? Like,
what are you gonna do, right? I mean, like, I just that's what I always come back to. Is just like, what are you gonna do about it? Okay, I only source chips from the U.S. Well,
that's what Intel are trying to do, right? Is that the plan to fix it as more local manufacturing, right? And as you said, it's going to come from Uncle Sam Buck, so you're paying for it. Right. So congratulations.
Yeah, and we talked about packaging coming back to the U.S. as well, and testing, and
right,
and like that might end up. There might be alternative ecosystems and pathways to do that sort of thing. I just think on a long enough timeline with a thick enough NBA playbook, someone's going to go, pretty expensive to do this in the U.S.
U.S. I can picture.
We should optimize everything in Malaysia. I can do all the packaging and blah blah blah. And like, oh man,
yeah, you can picture it. You can picture the cycle will continue, right?
Oh, totally.
So they'll bring everything back here, and then in 10 years' time, when all the political crap's died down,
look at this, we're consolidating again, and now we're back to exactly.
And they'll outsource again, and it's just it's Yep. Same
old story. But
it's like the universe, it just expands, does the inflation, then it contracts, and it's the same universe over and over again.
Oh yeah. I mean, what's really scary is that there's like a multiverse of Chris and Dave's also doing this exact same show,
right?
And they all came up with Olive the World.
Right, in their title. No, there's. I reckon there's only three of those tops. I reckon there's only 3 of them tops. Come on.
Oh man, so many movies and shows about multiverse stuff right now. It's getting a little tired.
It is.
It's like, if there's a multiverse, how do I switch? Can I sign up for a different one? Is there a format?
I've got a title, The Oliveverse. That's pretty good. Right. I reckon that's pretty good.
I think mine's a little better, but we'll add it to the list. We'll how about this? Whoever does the art for the show gets to pick the name.
Right.
How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm probably not going to bother to do the art, so.
Sometimes you get lucky though. Sometimes
it'd be lame. It'd be like an olive falling into a black hole or something, It'd be like,
like the gravity well thing.
Yeah, right.
This is completely stupid. Now the stupidest thing that I've said in the past hour about to happen. I was thinking about a joke the other day where how like people talk about like small and medium businesses.
Yep.
And like they're like SMBs.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like if I'm in a meeting at some point in the future and someone says, "Oh, and like, we're targeting the SMB for this new rollout." And I'd be like, "Do you mean small to medium business, or do you mean supermassive black hole?" Because like they're like they discovered the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy.
Yep. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kept seeing SMB and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good joke.
Right.
Like
I've seen that around a lot. Yeah, small medium business. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The government likes to trot it out, so you'll see it in
SMBs,
government.
man. You got to watch out. They can just suck you in, you know?
Yeah.
They just.
I don't think I'm an SMB because I'm a one-man band. So, you know, I'm. Yeah.
It's a OMB.
It's an OMB, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. OM Power's up.
Yeah, we should go before I make any terrible jokes. More terrible jokes.
Catch you next time.